I'm Derek, and this is the Double D podcast. As you can see, it is just me today. Darren's a busy man. Hard to get him free enough to do a podcast, and we're running out of time a little bit here on doing these reviews. It's been a very, very busy last couple of weeks. So I'm just going to do this review solo real quick and get you guys caught up to speed before Legends and All-Stars takes place in Milan. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. I apologize, by the way, if I continue to look off screen. Jake, yelling at my dog, who is probably eating something he shouldn't be, but he'll be fine. I'm sure of it. He's tough, so I'm sure he'll be okay. But if I look off screen, that's what I'm looking at. And I also apologize for sounding sick. I've been sick for the last couple of days. I think it's just allergies. But as you guys will hear soon enough, hi Jake. You wanted to be in the podcast? You wanted to replace Darren? Are you going to replace Darren? Probably a better co-host than Darren would be. Let's jump into it. Night of Champions. How about it? So Night of Champions took place May 17th, Cleves, Ohio. At the River's Edge Indoor Sports Complex. That is what I would consider Battle on the Border's home field to be. Every time we're there, the crowd always brings it. There's always a lot of people, and it's always a great, great show. And this show was no exception. I've always said it. We've always said it on this podcast that if BOTB is having a show, it is going to be great. And I do mean that. I mean, I do have connections with Battle on the Border, but I wouldn't have the connections that I have. I wouldn't want them so badly if the show was not great. So if a Battle on the Border show is coming to your area, you cannot miss it. So let's jump into what happened at Night of Champions 9. The show started off with a match between Nick Hamrick and Bryant Huff. Nick Hamrick, first time I think that he has been in Battle on the Border, or at least to my knowledge that he's been in Battle on the Border. So a debuting wrestler, always great to see that. The heavyweight division's always growing, and including Bryant Huff. We've seen Bryant Huff in the past, but he has been a zero gravity guy in the past, and now he's making his transition into being a heavyweight contender, which is an interesting strategy for a couple different reasons, and this is just my opinion from the outside looking in, but I think it gives him a unique advantage in the heavyweight division. Hear me out for this one. So I think it gives him a unique advantage in the heavyweight division because of his move set, the fact that he used to do some high-flying moves, and he still does, but he's in the heavyweight division. That's going to give him a unique advantage. However, I do feel like there's more heavyweight competitors. So it's a yin and yang of pros and cons, rather, not yin and yang, but the pros and cons of moving to the heavyweight division. And he's going to be he's jumping right into it by taking on Nick Hamrick, who's a big name on the indie scene. So this is a big matchup for both of these guys. I mean, Nick Hamrick wants to make a good impression in his debut, and then Brian Huff he's essentially making a debut in the heavyweight division. So it's going to be a big match for both of these guys. Nick Hamrick had A. Dick as his manager. That is not me making fun of him. That is his name. He had a last name, but really the only important part of that is the A. Dick part. Let's just be honest. So I don't remember his last name. I apologize. I heard a Dick, and I was like, that's good enough. That's what I'll call him on the podcast, because he was acting like one. He was trying to get himself involved in the match. He wore a wig that at some point came off. He was slipping all over the place, falling all over the place, using underhanded tactics to try to give Nick Hamrick the win, but it did not work as Bryant Huff wins. And he gets his first win in the heavyweight division, which is definitely going to send him up the rankings, rather. And for Nick Hamrick, an unfortunate loss. But it was a valiant effort, nonetheless. And I'm sure we'll see him back. And when he does come back, listen, I would not want to be the guy who's facing him, because he lost to Bryant Huff. His A. Dick of a manager decided to lose his hair. And there was a lot of stuff going on. But Brian Huff gets the victory, so he's definitely going to be moving up the rankings in the heavyweight division. And then Nick Hamrick, we'll just have to wait and see if he comes back. And if he does, he's going to be coming back with a vengeance. There is no doubt about that. Moving on, the next thing that happened at Night of Champions 9 was we finally got to find out who Paris McQueen's partner will be in the matchup that she is having against the King Militia, which of course consists of Missy King and my girlfriend Angela King. So this is a match. This is something that I had a lot of eyes on. I was really waiting to find out who this person would be. Me and Darren have speculated for the past couple of weeks. Really, I guess it's been at this point a couple of months now. We've been speculating who it would be. We're finally going to find out because a contract signing took place. Now, nothing bad ever happens in contract signings in wrestling. They always go smoothly. They always sign. Jake just threw my belt off the bed. That's why I looked over there. He's just throwing a fit because I'm not paying him attention. That's what it is. Anyway, that's Angela's dog. So maybe maybe he's just excited to find out. He wasn't there, so maybe he's excited to find out who Angela will be facing in Milan on June 7th. Contract signings, everything always goes smoothly. Nothing bad ever happens. And this was definitely one of those contract signings. Everything went fine. Nothing bad happened. So it started off with Paris McQueen coming out first, and she was going to announce who her partner was, and her partner is none other than Madison Payne. Now, this is a hell of a pairing. I mean, this is not what I expected. I mean, I really would have expected someone like Madison Payne to want to get her title, to get Paris McQueen's title from her. Now she's aligning with Paris McQueen in order to take out the King Militia. Now, it makes somewhat sense here. This does kind of make sense because if you go back to Milan, the last time we were in Milan, these are the four ladies who were going at each other for the most amount of time. I mean, Angela was thrown out of the Hoosier Rumble by Madison Payne, and Paris McQueen was the one that eliminated Missy. So it's all coming full circle, and I'm assuming that that's why Paris McQueen probably chose Madison Payne. Or was it that Madison Payne called her up? I don't really know. But nonetheless, that is the team that's going to be taking on the King Militia here in Milan in just a couple of days from the day from the time I'm recording this. So the contract signing took place. Missy and Angela, of course, they signed. They had no problem signing. They're not nervous. This is a mother and daughter team. The connection that they have with each other, the chemistry that they have with each other is going to be unmatched. They're fully confident that they can beat whoever Paris McQueen chose, and Madison Payne is who they chose. So they show no fear. They did not back down. They weren't intimidated. Nothing. They signed that contract without hesitation. Paris and Madison, on the other hand, they did have a lot of hesitation. In fact, they didn't actually, and from what I understand, at first physically sign the contract. And then at some point, Missy grabbed the microphone and said, listen, you better sign it right now. And they weren't signing it. And then, of course, what happens at contract signings? All bedlam breaks loose. It is absolute pandemonium inside of the ring. There's 900 security guards, including myself. I'm trying to get over to my girlfriend. There's people being thrown on the ground. There's people getting punched. There's people, I mean, I got hit. There's crazy stuff going on. Those four ladies do not like each other, and they were doing everything they could, everything in their power to get at each other. That is exactly what they were doing. They were throwing security guards. Get out of my way. I'm coming. Oh, it was just absolute mayhem. Pandemonium was going on. And finally, the match was signed. Paris McQueen and Madison Payne did sign. So that's right, Jake. Your mom is going to be taking on Madison Payne and Paris McQueen in Milan. How do you feel about that? I forgot. So there was a lot of pandemonium going on. I wouldn't say that anyone even got the upper hand in this little exchange that these four ladies had with each other. But I'll tell you this. There is no love lost between these four ladies. They do not like each other. That match in June, in just a couple of days on June 7th, it is going to be a hard-hitting contest. It is going to be a fight. And the winner is going to have to pull out a lot of stops here in order to get it. And the losers are going to be even worse off than the winners look. This is going to be, all four ladies are going to walk out of that match sore, and they're going to have to, I mean, listen, I'm obviously a little bit biased on this one. Listen, the Kings, they have it. I'm going to just go ahead and say that I believe the Kings will win. They have the crowd behind them. There's somewhat of a momentum in this, considering that they're the mother and daughter team. They're coming in after disrupting that contract signing and showing that they weren't scared and they're not backing down, which is, I'm sure, different for Paris McQueen and Madison Payne to have to deal with. And but with that being said, they're going to have. I mean, listen, these four ladies are going to walk out different. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be an absolute knockdown, drag out brawl. So make sure you get your tickets to Milan Legends and All Stars on June 7th. Moving forward, we have an absolute treat of a match here. This is a tag team match. I love tag team wrestling. We have a new date. Well, I guess technically two new debuting teams, I believe. One for sure, and that is the Tennessee Fight Club. They're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. They came up all the way from Tennessee to wrestle the team of Smoke Grenade, which is Travis Huey and Cody Travers. That would be the team of Smoke Grenade. And there's a bit of a size difference between these four. So Tennessee, for those that weren't there, what were you doing? Why weren't you there at the show? First off, and then second off, Tennessee Fight Club are two big dudes. Two big dudes. And no offense to Cody Travers or to Travis Huey, but not exactly big. So, listen, Tennessee Fight Club got the victory. But I will say this. Smoke Grenade put up a hell of a fight. They really did. I mean, when you see the four in the ring, I thought for sure Tennessee Fight Club was going to be able to take this, no problem. But Smoke Grenade worked really well together. And they were absolutely giving Tennessee Fight Club, Misery and Agony are the two members of Tennessee Fight Club. I couldn't tell you which one is which because they look identical. And neither could the referee, apparently, because the referee was just letting the two interchange at any moment. So I couldn't keep track either, to be fair. I mean, if I was the referee in that match, I probably would have ended up doing the same thing. But they Smoke Grenade put up a hell of a fight. I'm going to be honest with you. I was really, really shocked that it was as close as it was at certain points. And this isn't me saying that Smoke Grenade is not a good team. They're a very good team. I'm not saying at all that they're bad. It's just that there was a huge size difference here. But see, the size difference wasn't even what ended up being the determining factor. What ended up being the determining factor here was cheating. Let's just be honest. We'll just call a spade here. Tennessee Fight Club stole the victory. They used a helmet on Smoke Grenade. I believe it was Cody Travers who actually was the one that got hit with the helmet, causing him to go down and lose the match. I could be wrong. It might have been his partner, but I don't remember. I believe it was Cody Travers who got hit with the helmet, and Tennessee Fight Club got the victory. Ref didn't see it, so it doesn't count. I'm just going to play devil's advocate because Darren's not here. Although you know how I feel about underhanded tactics and cheating. Not a fan. So Tennessee Fight Club does get a victory. Huge debut victory for Tennessee Fight Club in a tag team division that, to be honest with you, is both loaded and kind of thin. There's a lot of tag teams, but not a lot of tag teams that get victories because they all face the dungeon and they all go down. So Tennessee Fight Club getting a victory is huge in a tag team division right now that is being dominated by the dungeon. If you can get a victory over a team that's not the dungeon, that is going to catapult you towards the top of the rankings. And then for Smoke Grenade, listen, they put up a hell of a fight. They really, really did. And we will end up seeing them later on. Sorry, I'm actually looking at something real quick. We will end up seeing Smoke Grenade later because they do both show up in the... Sorry, hold on, I'm reading something. They do end up showing up in the Golden Ticket Rumble. So it's not like they were, completely knocked out of the match there, or of the night. But I mean, I lost my train of thought. I apologize. I was reading something else. I'm sorry. I was trying to read something. We do end up seeing them later on, so they're still fighting. Is the point I'm trying to make. I apologize for that. They're still trying, and they're still fighting. And I assume that we'll see Smoke Grenade again at some point in the tag team division. And if we do, they're going to have to try to get a victory over a team, like I said. And that's the weird thing about the tag division is that it is loaded. There's a lot of tag teams in the division. It's just that right now, let's just be honest, the dungeon's running roughshod over the division, and that's going to make it's going to make it really, really hard for teams to get on the winning side. I mean, right now the dungeon have all the momentum, right, in the tag team division, and now the Tennessee Fight Club has some. So maybe we'll see them take on the dungeon coming up here soon. We'll have to find out. I apologize for looking at something and getting so sidetracked. That was unprofessional of me, and I will try to do better. I was trying to read something that we're about to talk about, and I should have just waited. Coming up next, we have a rematch between two people who fought, I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I do believe the last time that we saw these two compete against each other, it was at Moores Hill Mayhem back in November, I believe that's when that was. That would be MJ Davis and Piper GK Fam. Now, I am a huge Piper GK Fam fan, as is a lot of people. I do believe I don't know if we've said this on the podcast before, but me and Darren talk a lot about Battle on the Border and just things going on in it. And I told him that I do believe Piper GK Fam by the end of 2025 will hold a title of some sort. I don't know what title that is. He could be Zero Gravity. It could be the heavyweight title. It could be the tag team championship. It could be the hardcore championship for all I know. All I know is that Piper GK Fam, in my opinion, is one of the most talented people on the roster. And that's a roster full of extremely talented people. However, MJ Davis is no slouch of his own. MJ Davis has wrestled, I believe this is his second time in Battle on the Border, so he's wrestled twice. And this is, he was very impressive. He gave Piper a tough time in his last match, and he gave Piper a tough time in the second one. There was a lot of, I mean, there was heavy hitting. Piper's fast, but he's also deceptively strong. If you look at him, you wouldn't think, oh, this guy has a lot of power, but he does have some power behind him. MJ Davis does too. This was a back and forth battle between the two, but finally Piper GK Fam did get the victory. And I'm telling you what, I think Piper GK Fam's momentum's really shifting. I do believe that by the end of this year, Piper GK Fam will be a champion. That's just me. Just me guessing. That's just me projecting. If he keeps getting wins, it's going to be hard to deny that he deserves a title shot at some point at some title. But what title would it even be? Is it Zero Gravity? Would he go for the heavyweight title? Like I said, I mean, I think he could win in any of them. I don't know what his plans are. It would be great to ask him. Maybe we would have him on the podcast at some point coming up soon. Interview him and see what his plans are here in Battle on the Border. And he's also a guy who's wrestled in Puerto Rico, I believe, recently. So I think this is, I mean, I'm telling you, I think Piper GK Fam might be a force to be reckoned with within Battle on the Border. However, MJ Davis, listen, again, no slouch. He gave Piper GK Fam a hell of a fight, and they gave him a run for his money. There was a couple of times where it looked like MJ Davis was going to get the victory. However, Piper GK Fam did edge him out. So, Piper GK Fam, his stock is rising. And MJ Davis, your stock's not necessarily lowering. You know, the loss doesn't help in the rankings. But he's a hell of a competitor. I know MJ Davis is another one who honestly could be a champion at some point. I mean, he's very talented as well. So hopefully we get to see MJ Davis back at some point. See him get another chance to win at a match, and maybe against someone other than Piper. Now that Piper's up 2-0 on the series, but Piper GK Fam, I'm telling you, BOTB Brigade, you want to watch out for Piper GK Fam. Moving on, we have a returning fan favorite in Battle on the Border versus a debuting kind of wrestler on the roster here. This is the hardcore division, a division that has been dominated by Hooks and Jeff King over the past year or so now. Those two have been at the top of the hardcore division, but the hardcore division is another division that is extremely loaded, and there are more and more people that are entering into the hardcore realm here in Battle on the Border. So this is another one that a title, if you have a title, that means that there is going to be a huge target on your back. So the returning superstar that everyone loves from New Jersey, Dirtbag Dan. Earlier in the night, Dirtbag Dan actually led the locker room into doing a 10-bell salute for Sabu, who sadly passed away not too long before this show took place. So that was very, very sweet to see Dirtbag Dan do. I mean, he'd always pay homage to the legends that paved the way for him to do what he does, and what he does at a very high level. We haven't seen a lot of Dirtbag Dan. Myself and Darren haven't seen a lot of Dirtbag Dan, but he is somebody who has a lot of lore behind him. He is someone you hear a lot of stories about. He is a former hardcore champion who has never lost the title technically. It was stripped from him, and he wants it back. But he's going to have to try to get through Cactus Dax. Now, this guy looks a lot like Dirty Daxie, who lost to Shauna Reed back in Clarksville Chaos. But it is not it is not Dirty Daxie. It is Cactus Dax. Wink, wink. Cactus Dax debuting made it very clear that this is the debut of Cactus Dax in Battle on the Border. I think, and listen, I'm no detective. I've never claimed to be smart once in my life. And in fact, later on, we'll talk about how not smart I am. However, I think that this might just be Dirty Daxy under a new name. Listen, I don't want to be controversial. I don't want to be that guy, but it did look a lot like Dirty Daxy. So um, I'm just going to call it how I see it. I think that was who that was. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sure Dirty Daxy will let us know. Maybe he has a twin brother. I don't know. Another one we have to have on the podcast at some point. Same with Dirtbag Dan. We got to get him on here too. So what happened in the matchup? Well, it's a hardcore matchup, so there was a lot of craziness going on. People getting hit with weapons. There was staple guns being used. There was a dollar bill stapled to foreheads. There was some craziness going on. But at the end of the day, Dirtbag Dan got the victory, and that means that Cactus Dax losing in his debut, and Dirtbag Dan getting a victory after being gone. The last time that we've seen him, I believe, and it's been a couple months now, but I believe we saw him at the end of the year last year, I believe. So it's been about 6 months. Well, at this point, I guess it was like 5.5 months since we've seen him. He lost then, but he gets a victory now. And again, a hardcore division that's very stacked, but not full of a lot of people with wins. So a win's very important, and he got that victory. He's going to be climbing up the rankings. Now, for Cactus Dax, on the other hand, a loss is going to send him back down the rankings. If this is Dirty Daxy, that's 2 losses in a row. I want to say maybe 3 losses in a row, because I believe the last time that we've seen him before that, he lost to Justin Xavier. So he's gotten 2 losses in the Zero Gravity division, and now a loss in the hardcore division. So I think he's 0-3 in his last 3 matches here in BOTB. No matter what name he uses, if that is so, and that's just me speculating, if this is Dirty Daxy, then I believe he's 0-3 in his last 3 matches. But if it's not, this guy's 0-1. Hey, just get back on the grind. Just got to get another match, try to get a victory, get that momentum back. But if you're 0-3, you still got to do the same thing. But I feel like it's a lot harder to come back from an 0-3 momentum shift. So hopefully we get to see Cactus Dax back. Now, coming up next, we have the Dungeon defending their titles against Majestic and LG3. Now, Majestic and LG3 have been in Battle on the Border before. I believe the last time that we've seen them wrestle was maybe even against the Dungeon. I could be wrong. I do know that they've been in Battle on the Border before. However, who they wrestled, and that was also in Moores Hill. However, I don't know who they wrestled exactly off the top of my head. I want to say it might have been the Dungeon, but I could be wrong. However, the Dungeon, we don't need to speculate about what they've been doing lately. Every time they wrestled, they have won. They have been very dominant champions. I may not like the way that they do things in the ring. I may not like the tactics that they use to win, but the results speak for themselves. They are tag team champions, and they have been tag team champions now for a while. It's going to be getting close. It's going to be we're probably about 3 or so months away from it being a year. So about 9 months, I think, that they've been champion, roughly ish. Maybe they might have won. Honestly, they might have won on 31st. They might have just be champions for 6 months now. But it feels like it's been almost a year that they've been champions now, because they've won so often. I mean, they beat a lot of tag teams. They beat Ricky and Kerry Morton. They beat every team that has been thrown their way. They have beaten. And unfortunately, LG3 and Majestic are no different. The Dungeon did win, and they did defend the title successfully, using underhanded tactics and the like. Listen, LG3 and Majestic did try really hard to win, and I think they're going to be back. They are actually a very, very talented tag team. I'm not going to try to overshadow what they did. They had a couple of opportunities to win. They got close a couple of times, and they're very talented. And I do think I think that if there's any tag team that has a chance of defeating the Dungeon, they might be the team, because they got close. They got really close a couple of times, and they worked very well as a team together. But unfortunately, the Dungeon just, not only do they work well with each other, but they're truly, truly willing to do whatever it takes to win. And unfortunately, they're willing to, cheat. again, Darren's not here. I don't know why I don't have to censor myself. They cheated in order to get the victory sometimes. I don't, not, again, I'm not saying they did it this time. I'm not saying they didn't do it this time. I'm just saying that sometimes they cheat in their matches. And I'm not a fan of that. So either way, the Dungeon have been dominant champions since becoming champions. And I don't know what it's going to take in order for them to, I don't know who's going to be able to beat them. I mean, they're on an incredible roll right now. So it'll be very interesting to see. So I hope we get to see LG3 and Majestic back. I really do. They're talented. I think that they could very potentially be a serious contender in the tag team division. So we'll see. And to the Dungeon, congratulations on continuing to win. Give me a second of awkward silence here. I got to wet my whistle again. I apologize if I sound sick. It's because I am sick. I'm staying hydrated, as you can tell. To be fair, I've been drinking water all day. That's my first non-water beverage. Moving on to the co-main event. We're moving on really fast here. I apologize if this seems like I'm rushing. I'm not rushing. This is just straightforward. This is just a straightforward night. There's some nights that are very. I mean, listen, it was an unbelievable night of action. It was a lot of. It was chaos. Let's just be honest. It's always chaos, and there was a lot of stuff going on in this show. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of this is very straightforward. A lot of there's people winning and people losing. And then that's sometimes how it is. I know that this next matchup was one of my favorite matches of the night, and I didn't even know it was going to happen because it wasn't announced. And this was one of my favorite matches that I've seen actually in a while. And that would be Jordan Nelson taking on Bam Bam Bundy. We have seen Bam Bam Bundy in the past. In fact, he took on Paxton Calloway back when Paxton Calloway was the heavyweight champion. He lost, obviously. And he's coming back, though, because he wants that Golden Ticket Rumble. He is actually, if we go back here, he was able to get, this is what I was looking at earlier, he was able to draw the #1 spot in the Rumble, which in this case, see, I thought when that was announced, I thought that meant that he was the first one out. What that actually meant is that he was the last one out. So it's like drawing number 30 in the Royal Rumble in WWE. This would be like that. So #1 is a good thing, not a bad thing. So he's already coming in high on that hog because, listen, you have the best odds to win a Rumble when you're the last person in the Rumble. Jordan Nelson, debuting in Battle on the Border. He is from Belfast. I don't know where Denham's getting all of these people from, but he's from Belfast, Ireland. I don't know if I cut out there or not. He's from Belfast, Ireland. I don't know where Denham's getting all of these international talent from. Madison Payne's from London or the UK at least. Jordan Nelson's from Ireland. International talent all over the place. Denham's flying them in. And Jordan Nelson, very, very talented. Now, there's a huge, again, we talked about size difference before and how much this means, how much I feel it means in the world of wrestling. I think it does mean a lot. Jordan Nelson is not as big as Bam Bam Bundy. That would be an understatement. He's not. Bam Bam Bundy is a big dude. He's tall. He's just a big, big dude. Someone who, when you see him, you immediately realize that you're not going to be able to mess with him. However, Jordan Nelson was smart, and during this matchup, he was using his speed and his quickness to his advantage on Bam Bam Bundy. However, Bam Bam Bundy is he's a veteran. He is somebody who is going to realize very quickly what you're doing, and he's going to try and stop you from doing it. And that is exactly what he did to Jordan Nelson, as he was able to defeat Jordan Nelson, meaning that Bam Bam Bundy gets the victory here, and Jordan Nelson is sent back home with a loss. But that's not the last that we're going to see of these two, because both of these guys are going to end up in the Golden Ticket Rumble. So let's go ahead and get to the Golden Ticket Rumble. The Golden Ticket Rumble has a lot of stuff going on in it, and obviously, I feel like for those that were at the show, there's probably an elephant in the room that we haven't really had a chance to discuss yet, and we're going to. But before we do that, I just want to go ahead and tell you who was in the Golden Ticket Rumble in order. So this would be in order from how they came out to how it ended. So we have Savion Truitt making his debut. Nathan Bates, Jordan Nelson, Die Hard Tom McClane, Sergeant Ledbetter, Betty D, Dirtbag Dan, Tommy Profit, Emily Rose, MJ Davis, Majestic, Chimera, LG3, Ethan Evans, Misery, I believe is Panther, Agony, Cody Travers, Travis, Piper GK Fam, TJ Fury, Bam Bam Bundy. And Huff. Sorry, I forgot about Bryant Huff. Bryant Huff was after Cody Travers. That's the name I couldn't read. So again, sorry, in order. Savion Truitt, Nathan Bates, Jordan Nelson, Die Hard Tom McClane, Sergeant Ledbetter, Betty D, Dirtbag Dan, Travis Profit, Emily Rose, MJ Davis, Majestic, Benjamin Chimera, LG3, Ethan Evans, Misery, Panther, Agony, Cody Travers, Huff, Bryant Huff, Piper GK Fam, TJ Fury, Bam Bam Bundy. Those were the list. And there was a lot of great action in this. There was some alliances being made, alliances being broken just as fast as they were being made, including Emily Rose and Betty D at one point working together, even though they were enemies. Now they're friends in this. So that was interesting to see. There was a lot of crazy stuff going on here. The final five would be Benjamin Chimera, Piper GK Fam, Savion Truitt, Bam Bam Bundy, and Sergeant Ledbetter. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room now. At these shows lately, I've been doing security because I am a trainee at the training school. So I am a security guard. And during this Golden Ticket Rumble, I was instructed to stand over in a corner in order to make sure that the fans, in case that fighting happened outside of the ring, the fans wouldn't be getting involved. They wouldn't get hurt. Try to get them out of the way in case anything happens, including with eliminations. Getting thrown over the top rope, you can get launched pretty far. So my goal was to just try to keep everybody safe. Benjamin Chimera was eliminated, and he was not happy that he was eliminated. And he was throwing a bit of a fit outside of the ring. He was upset. He was angry. And he came over to my corner, and he pushed me. He gave me a pretty good shove. The hardest I've ever been pushed in my life. I mean, I went flying. It was okay. Obviously, it didn't feel great, but I've been hurt worse. And I was just trying to do my job as a security guard. I'm following him to the back. I'm trying to get him to the back so we can keep the match going. Get him out of the fans' way so they can see and not be a distraction to what's going on in the ring and not be a distraction. I mean, listen, I get it. He's upset. I would be upset if I were him too. But I'm just trying to get him back so he can calm down, really. So he's not going to hurt a fan. I mean, he could have hurt somebody badly with how pissed off he was. Let's just be honest with you. You know what? He did not like the fact that I was trying to do my job. I think he recognized that I was a trainee for Sergeant Ledbetter. Him and Sergeant Ledbetter do not like each other. And he took great exception to the fact that I was trying to stand up to him. And he gave me a slap. And then he tried to rip my arm out of the socket, threw me to the ground, and he tried to take my arm off. Obviously, that's not what I expected to happen. I was in a lot of pain there for a good couple of days. He's was very upset about me standing up to him. But the truth is that I just don't like bullies too much. I'm not a huge fan of bullies. I can take a lot. I can really take a lot. But I was just trying to do my job. I'm trying to get him to the back, trying to get him to calm down. I say a lot of stuff on this podcast. I really do. I say a lot of stuff. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't do anything to him. He started it. Now, it wasn't a big deal. But what ended up becoming a big deal was that later on in the night, when me and my girlfriend are trying to leave, she's having to help me out because of my shoulder issues, because of my arm issues. Benjamin Chimera attacks me again, which again, whatever. You attack me, you can hit me, you can knock me down, I'll get back up. But then he did something that honestly, I can't even talk about now. I get so heated. But he put his hands on Angela. I was on the ground. I could not defend her. I'm on the ground. I'm holding. I mean, I'm in pain. I'm on another planet. He rams my head into a truck bed, and then he puts his hands on my girlfriend. Benjamin Chimera. On June 7th, Benjamin Chimera and myself are going to be getting into a match. We're going to have a match with each other. And it might end up being a fight. I mean, I am beyond angry. I haven't slept super well. It's probably why I'm sick. I haven't been sleeping super well. I mean, thankfully, Angela's okay. And listen, she's a strong woman. She's going to be able to move on, not worry about Benjamin Chimera anymore, because trust me, there are plenty of people in that locker room who are going to get to by Benjamin Chimera if it happens again. You know, you got Jeff King, you got myself, you have Sergeant Ledbetter. It is not going to happen again, and I assured her that. However, Benjamin Chimera is not done between us. June 7th, Milan, Indiana, myself and Benjamin Chimera will step in that ring, and we're going to settle it. I don't care about putting your hands on me. You can put your hands on me all you want. Push me around, you can slap me, you can do what you want. But putting your hands on my girlfriend was absolutely uncalled for. Shows your true character, Ben. It really does. Shows your true character. So you know what? June 7th, I might get my ass kicked. That's true. I mean, I had to skip training this week because I'm sick. So that's great. Going into a match against Ben, and I wasn't able to train because I'm sick. But you know what? I'm going to put up an absolute fight. I'm going to fight with everything I have to defend Angela. Now, let's move on. The winner of this match was Sergeant Ledbetter. So the Golden Ticket Rumble is the winner is Sergeant Ledbetter. Congratulations to Sergeant Ledbetter. I feel like that's a little extra salt in the wound to Benjamin Chimera, seeing the Golden Ticket be held by his nemesis right now, and his someone who he's had a lot of problems with here in the past year. Congratulations to Sergeant Ledbetter. He can now cash that in. He has 1 calendar year to cash that in on anything. He can cash it in on a title if he wants. We've seen it, I believe, even like #1 contenderships. It could be cashed in however he pleases and whenever he pleases within a calendar year. So congratulations to Sergeant Ledbetter. It's the second time that he's won. So congratulations to him. And who knows? I mean, listen, I'm gonna make the prediction now that I think that Sergeant Ledbetter has one thing on his mind, and that is heavyweight title gold. I believe he's going to be going straight for the for the heavyweight championship that is currently held by Carson Drake. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Listen, he's a former tag team guy. Maybe him and Bomani just recently teamed up. Maybe they go and stop the dungeon. No. Maybe the hardcore American hero wants to wrestle Jeff, or whoever is the hardcore champion by the time by the time he decides to cash it in. I don't know. I don't think he can go for the zero gravity title, but I mean if he lost most of if he became severely sick, maybe he could, and then maybe lost a couple of inches of height, that might be an option. I don't know. So we'll see. But congratulations to Sergeant Ledbetter. I know that he took it a little bit easier on us that following Wednesday, although I was not in the mood to mess around. I tried to be a little bit nicer during that. So let's make some announcements, shall we? It was a great show. It was an absolutely great show. Cannot wait to go back to Cleves. But before we get to Cleves, again, anytime soon, we have Milan VFW Legends and All-Stars will be taking place at the Milan VFW here in Milan, Indiana. We've been to Milan. It was a great time the first time. We were at the Milan High School. It's actually just down the street from the high school is where the Milan VFW is. If you go down to the description below, I'm going to have a link to the I'll probably just have the address down in the description. If I don't, you can go to Battle on the Border Pro Wrestling's Facebook page and you can find the address there, but I should have it in the description. So the announcements are June 7th. We have King Militia versus Paris McQueen and Madison Payne. Like I said, I am biased on this one, so I'm going to go with the King Militia getting the victory here. Then we have the Tennessee Fight Club taking on Beauty and Perfection. I believe that is the tag team name for TJ Fury and his father. So that's going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough matchup for me to decide on. I'm rooting for TJ. I love TJ. I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's very talented. And I'm assuming that his father is just the same. So I'm going to go ahead and give my vote to them. And then we have some. So by the time I'm filming this, Battle on the Border recently got back from West Virginia. So the next episode that you guys are going to see of the Double D podcast will be of me reviewing Aftermath, LAW, and BOTB combined forces to put on a show called Aftermath in Parkersburg, West Virginia. I had the privilege of being able to go and watch another promotion and BOTB work together. So the next episode, you will see that. Some of the people who are there are the King Militia. Benjamin Chimera, unfortunately, was there, beating up on people as he normally does. People smaller than him, of course. Then you have Sam and Slammy and Piper GK fam also there representing Battle on the Border. Andrew Williams was there. Jeff King was there. Ethan Evans was there. There was a whole bunch of people there. Lucy B. Sweet was there. There's a whole bunch of people. So make sure you pay attention to the uploads on this channel to see when that comes out. And you can do that by clicking the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notifications when we upload. Make sure you like, comment, share, and thank you for doing so if you choose to. You can follow us on, or you can follow me on Twitter at DJDub00. You can follow me on Instagram, the_D_podcast. You can follow us on TikTok, the Double D Podcast 1. And yeah, make sure you share this with your friends and family alike. And we will see you on June 7th in Milan, Indiana. I apologize again for this being a solo review. I'm a little bit under the weather, so if this wasn't as good of a review, I apologize. But I will be ready for June 7th. And listen, I don't want to make this about me. I'm not trying to. This podcast is always going to be a review. When we do these reviews, this will be reviews. When we review the June 7th show, it'll be a review. It will not be me ranting for very long. But since we're at the end, I just wanted to say that, I understand that Benjamin Chimera is a lot bigger than me. He is a veteran. He is not someone to be messed with. But I didn't start this, and I'm going to try my best to end it. I realize that I am going to go in there, and I'm going to probably get my ass kicked. But I'm going to try and instill some type of lesson or something into Ben's head that he cannot put his hands on my girlfriend and expect to get away with it. It just won't happen. Like I said, she is strong, but she has enough on her plate. She has to deal with Madison Payne. She has to deal with Paris McQueen. She should not have to deal with Benjamin Chimera putting his hands on her. Why did he do it? I don't know. I really don't. I don't think it was personal to her. Honestly, I don't think it had anything to do with her. I think it had to do with Ledbetter student. I think that's what it had to do with. But don't worry, okay? I don't get it twisted. She is going to be ready June 7th to beat Paris McQueen and Madison Payne. Jeff King is going to be focused, and he is going to be ready to defeat Ethan Evans. And I'm going to be ready to do my absolute best against Benjamin Chimera. So King Militia, Angela and Missy are going to get the victory. Jeff's going to get the victory. And I am going to try my best. Who knows? I might shock some people. I mean, Ben might be underestimating me. Who knows? So June 7th, make sure you show up, support. Even if you're a Benjamin Chimera fan, show up and support. It's a great time. Link in the description. Bye.